Gonna add you right here. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome to episode 229 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I am the man Cisco. Here comes man Scoops just in time to save the day. 1 second. There he is, saving the
Hey.
day. I literally just hit the button, Scoops, and we are live. I was doing my best Scoops impersonation. I said, "Welcome to McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel." I said, "I am Cisco. I'm not Scoops." So please, for the fam today, please do your intro because this is straight audio. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack it now. I didn't know where to do it with my hands. I couldn't crack anything.
All right, let me see if I get that file up because I figured you were going to handle that. I was
Well, I can say that. I can say that. I just need you to do the intro. I need to do my crack. I got them all. I have OCD, ADD, and CTE. So between those three, I don't know. I don't know what we're rocking with here.
All right. So what is this? 228,
Nine.
229,
Yeah.
229. All right. So welcome to episode 229 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neil McCready. That is Tyler Siskey. AJ McCarron joins us as well as he always does on Monday. The former Alabama and NFL quarterback. We're brought to you each and every episode by our great friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Scoops, AJ, I got all kinds of TikTok stuff going. I never ended the TikTok, so we got a bunch of people on TikTok. We're trying to get them over to YouTube as we speak. But Scoops, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is going to be bumping today. I want to remind everybody, check this out, AJ. AJ's a big Cooper Chevrolet fan. Here we go. Cooper Chevrolet, they have a red tag offer on the new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 crew cab RST 5.3 liters. You can get a 1.9% APR for 60 months plus $3,750 total cash allowance. Costco members save an additional $1,000. Make sure you call our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet at area code 256-236-4481. That was a lot right there. Here we go. Check this out right here, Scoops. Gotta get my good friend. I don't even know where my reader went. I had everything set up here. I got everything moved around. There she goes. Scoops, our good friend Brandon and our good friends at PTG Outdoors. Okay, discover your Garmin at PTG Outdoors. They have from cycling to running to watches to tax indoor cycling. Garmin brings innovation to your fitness journey. Track health metrics, explore maps, and enjoy GPS precision for cycling, golf, and outdoor adventures. Dive deeper with a swim tracking, train smarter with dog tracking tools, and monitor performance on land and water. Explore Garmin's range, including smartwatches, scales, and advanced off-road instruments available now. Go to our friends at PTG Outdoors at ptgoutdoors.com. And Scoops, AJ, check this out. Just in case you didn't know this, podcast advertising works. Got a call from Brandon on Thursday after the show. My man sold 3 boats. 3 boats.
Wow.
Good day for Brandon. Good day for Brandon.
Well, let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go.
Let's go, Brandon. Absolutely.
Let's go. All right. Now we are now. I got all kinds of stuff going. So just to give you an idea, I'm sitting there.
That's good, AJ.
Love it. I had the reader. I have this other screen up here, like my bonus screen. So I had everything called up, trying to be organized. Well, I have the chat up here. And so while the chat's delayed, and so while I'm reading the chat, when I hit the button to read my readers, all I got is Neil's face right on the side of it going, like, so I couldn't focus on my reader. So I needed to cover that up. But all right, let's get this bad boy started. We'll get them nice and pissed off to start with. I want to talk about a few things, and we'll get to games and all that stuff. And we got plenty of time today to get everybody in and out of here. The first thing is I'm sure everybody saw the Jason Kelce video from Saturday's game, Penn State game. He was there doing, I guess, working with ESPN or whatever he was doing. He was at the game and then doing some stuff outside, uh, walking down the outside of the stadium, and a fan decided it was a good idea to follow him with a phone and called his brother a racial slur, a homosexual, homophobic slur, I guess is the right word, because he was dating uh, Taylor Swift. Well, Jason Kelce did not think that was a good idea. He did not like that. So he took the man's phone that was videoing it and did a very impressive spike of the phone to the point where the noise was very audible. I was like, "Ooh, that one hit rough." And then tried to pick it up and all that stuff. And then then Jason was called on camera saying, who is the homophobic slur now?" You know, so trying everything I can, Scooch, not to get canceled here. So I'm keeping an eye
You're
on
doing
it.
well. You're
Doing
doing
well.
well. Yep. It's a
So
word you cannot say.
yes, aren't you proud of me?
I am.
Aren't you, AJ? Are you proud of me? I've grown as I've gotten
I,
older.
I don't know what word we're talking about, so I
Good,
don't
good.
want to.
Good,
Don't press the issue, AJ.
good, good, AJ. Good, AJ. He does too. He's trying to set me
Yeah,
up.
he does.
He's trying to
That's
set.
why I'm telling him not to press the issue. He's just
He's trying to
he's
set me up.
fishing from one of those boats that Brandon sold.
He is. He's
Just
he's fishing. Yep. But look, I said I quote tweeted some guy who I guess some person, I don't know who it was, on social media that put it out there. And look, this is my opinion. I'm sure you two got your own opinion, but um, we live in a world right now that, because of YouTube, because of TikTok and all that stuff, is like there's all these pranksters out there that are making a gazillion dollars on these videos by doing, I call them realistic pranks. Like there's guys that are making a ton of money doing videos where they're going to somebody's house. Like there was one, perfect timing. There was one that's going popular today that's very funny, that they have the Harris Walls deal, and then they go to they go to their house.
They're going around like, I see you support us. Like, we got a couple immigrants illegal. They just crossed the border. Would you take them in? And well, I got little kids. Oh, Hector's great with kids. And then
he said,
they go to the
he
next
goes,
one.
he goes, we have a teenager, and
Yeah.
he goes, well, Hector just dated a teenager. I
Oh,
love the woman that says, you better not say that, mister.
All right.
he said, well, just tell me you're voting Trump without telling me. And that's not right either. That's not right either. I'm like,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm so. Hey, look, I'm going to tell all you people, all you talk football people. I'm just going to let you guys know we're one
Oh
day
yeah,
out.
yeah. Someone in the thread says someone says we're a house of COVID. And he goes, he said he talked to them. They're like, we're good. We'll take our chances.
yeah. He said they're not scared. They'll beat it.
All right. So people see videos like this and they think they can go do that and antagonize people to get a reaction.
Yeah, hang on. Before you keep going, you gotta see y'all gotta see the other one if you haven't. The Nelk Boys who came out with Happy Dad drinks and everything. They have one, and they have a fucking Greyhound bus pull up, and it's just like 20 to 30 Mexicans that hop out like illegal immigrants is what they're acting like, and they just start, and the people start closing the doors on them. Like, it's the greatest thing.
Oh God.
It's,
I think
pretty
I'm the
funny.
only person in America that's going to miss the election cycle. I mean, I think there's going to be like a certain degree of withdrawal because the content has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Awesome.
I don't even. Oh, back Jason Kelce. I was trying to get back. We'll be getting back on it here shortly, I imagine. But Jason Kelce, the guy, takes his phone and all that stuff. People, I would say this. Most people were good about it, but look, I realized, AJ, this will probably surprise you. I told Scoops this Thursday. Is now when you're doing TikTok lives, they give you your analytics. When you get off, and like the other day, we did a TikTok live that had 24,100 people in it or something, And the other day when I did that one, it was 74% of the TikTok live crowd was between the ages of 18 and 24. And so, which was surprising.
I got to tell you this, Tyler. I got to tell you this. So I was out on Friday night in Fayetteville, and I had lots of Ole Miss people and Arkansas people, like in that age range, coming up going, "You're the guy from TikTok. I watch McCready and Siskey." And I'm like, I'm not even the one that does all the lives. And like both of my girls are like, yeah, all of my friends are like, you keep popping up in our our TikTok feeds. And it's wild, man. The power. Who would have ever thought that we would suddenly be being watched by college kids? That's weird.
Now I know what it's like to be AJ McCarron.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but all right. So going back,
the difference is our groupies are males and his were female. That's the only difference.
I mean, it depends on if they're Democrat or not.
Oh Lord!
Oh, not going there. I told you it's gonna be all day. So if you got a problem with it, kick rocks. All right. So our show, we can do what the fuck we want to do. All right. So, but going back to this Jason Kelce, excuse me. He takes the guy, he spikes it or whatever, and there were a lot of people like, oh, you can't do that and get offended and all that stuff. Look, I call this fuck around and find out. And then we got a lot of people on TikTok. Obviously, I think we still got a bunch over there. But look, my advice to this can be life advice. Sponsored by Cole Walters State Farm. If you go to antagonize somebody for video purposes or in just non-video purposes, you decide you go to a bar, you want to start a fight, you want to be aggressive with somebody, do not do it with somebody who's been paid to be a violent person for a long time. That's probably that's advice one. And then really that's 1B. 1A is if you go to a bar and you go somewhere and you look at somebody and you want to go fight the guy, whatever it is, or when you look over there and they have cauliflower ear, okay, I don't care how wrong they are. You just say, hey, that's on me, boss. That's my bad. That's my bad. And just shoot the deuce because it's not going to work out for you. If the dude's got cauliflower ear and you don't, just walk away. Just walk away. It's not going to end well for you. And so, like for this guy, I don't know why they're so surprised, but yeah, for me, that's fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
That's life advice presented by Cole Walters State Farm Insurance. Cole Walters, licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him at ColeWaltersInsurance.com.
So what was your take?
It's always funny. Like, listen, social media itself is giving people a false hope and thought process upon themselves on they think they can just talk crazy, and it's fine, as a keyboard warrior, to talk and say whatever the hell you want. I've had people, hell, in my own hometown talk shit, and then I'm out all the time. When I go to restaurants, I've seen those people before, and you would have thought they saw a ghost, and they just won't make eye contact. Like, and I'm not a violent person. I mean, Jason definitely got paid, but it's always funny, meeting people like, damn, I didn't realize you were that big. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, because I'm playing with guys that are 6'8", playing left tackle and right tackle. But I mean, listen, don't talk shit if you can't back it up. And then now he's probably going to fucking press charges or sue him because he bashed his phone. Like, I'm sure it'll be fucking something stupid. And some liberal ass judge will probably say, oh, yep, you're right. He hurt your feelings. You're awarded, $500,000 because I'm sure you have some mental issues now. Like, it'll be something stupid. So listen, don't talk shit. And then if you want to talk shit, just be ready to back it up and throw hands if you got to.
If you're about that life, be about that life.
He's lucky that that's all that happened. Everybody involved is lucky that it's just a phone. And it ought to be as simple as, hey, here's you a new phone. Learn your lesson. Jason Kelce can drop $1,000 on the new phone. It'll be all right. And then everybody ought to move on their own way because the guy got lucky that he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't have blamed him.
I mean, you just can't walk. I mean, just because he's a famous person and his brother's a famous person, it doesn't mean. I mean, I got 2 brothers, and it's that deal where like I can say what I want to about my brothers. We can go after each other and call each other all sorts of names and get mad at each other and everything else. But now, you start talking about one of my brothers, and I'm probably going to get pretty pissed off. So. Why is that? That shouldn't be. Jason Kelce's not immune to that because he happened to play center for the Philadelphia Eagles and because his brother is a all-pro tight end who's dating one of the most recognizable people on planet Earth. He's still a human being. I mean, people come at you after a while, and there comes a point where you get to where you're like, okay, I'm tired of it. That's enough. And you tell people that's enough. And then they're like, oh, you're being so defensive. No, I mean, he's not being defensive. He's just sick of it. He's letting you know he's sick of it. And go get you a new phone. You'll be all right. He probably owes you a new phone. I think we all would agree that he destroyed your phone. Go get a new phone. He'll reimburse you for the phone. Pick out the color you want and learn your lesson. Leave the guy alone. I mean, because you're lucky that you're not picking out a new jaw.
Dude, I had one scenario in my whole career. It's funny. It just kind of made me think about it. I don't know if I've ever even told this story, but so we play Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl senior year. I'm flying out the next day. We had my agent that I was gonna pick out had already set it up and everything, and but that night my brother turned 21. And he was talking to this girl that went to Tulane, and he's like, hey, we were like, me and Dad, hey, let's go out, take you out, first drink, blah, blah, blah. He's like, can we go to this piano bar where this girl's at that I've been talking to? And I told Corey, I said, yeah. I said, but listen, is this bar filled with like college kids? Is it all LSU? He's like, no. Like LSU was playing somewhere or something. He was like, this is out of town. There won't be LSU. Dude, we walk in, and we had already contacted the owner of the place. He was like, yeah, come on, we'll take care of you. And we walked in, and from the time I got to the front door, everybody's pointing, tiger bait, pointing, going nuts, which was fine. I mean, hell, I'm used to it. Well, they stood around us, and this thing is slam packed. And we're at the bar talking to the owner. Well, all of a sudden, dude, some guy behind me snatches my hat off. And it was fucking on from there. I went and grabbed that dude. Next thing I know, and anybody that doesn't know, my brother's a big fucking guy. I mean, as always, my dad's 6'3". I'm right at 6'4". My brother's right at, 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in there. But he's yoked. And all he does, I mean, he eats weights for a living. And next thing I know, he played fullback. Corey has this dude, another guy that tried to come up mess with him. His feet are off the ground. Corey has him in a bench press and is running across the room. And it's like the Red Sea is fucking parting. And they had these wooden pylons going into the ground. And Corey just slams this dude into this wooden pylon. He fucking falls down, folds up, and I mean, it was fucking on. And you could hear a pin drop. There wasn't any more shit talking, nothing else said. And the owner was like, "Y'all, please come back here with us." I mean, that's the only time I've ever had some shit go down like that.
Oh, Corey, my guy.
Dude, nutso.
That's a good transition. Scoops, we had a little incident with the ULM Warhawks this weekend. Besides you, by the way, we'll get to it. My man Scoops cut into the old lead this weekend. Did you look at your record this weekend, Scoops?
I saw what you sent in the email. That was the first I'd paid attention to it.
Scoops went 5-0 against the spread in college this week.
How about that?
And missed his money line. He had the ULM money line, which about hit, but Been asked a lot about this in lives. Been tagged in social media about it several times. So it's on social media anywhere you want to find it. Everybody has retweeted it, showed the video. It's viral. But ULM offensive line coach Cam Blankenship had a moment Saturday with a player. Got after his ass, kind of running down the sideline, slammed the headset. Then he chases him off the field, and then kind of chest bumps him or whatever on the sideline or whatever, getting after his ass. He has since come out and had a statement. The AD has had a statement that they will be disciplining him internally, yada yada yada. But made a lot of people on social media. I've been asked a ton about it. I will save my piece, and then I'll let you two go on this. Here's the deal. I know Cam Blankenship. Played for me. Know him very well. He was offensive lineman for us at South Alabama. I love the guy. I do. For that guy, he went, and AJ probably knows because it's kind of how I am with AJ. That guy laid it on the line for me and my family when he didn't have to. He was hurt pretty much the whole time. He was a transfer from UAB when they shut down. He didn't have to. He laid it on the line, banged up when he didn't have to for us to keep our job. He is a tough ass. I'm not going to, if people are looking for me to say something negative about the guy, I won't. And I don't give a shit about what everybody else thinks about the guy. I know him. I love him to death. I have a soft spot in my heart for him because of what he's done for me and my family. And so for him getting after somebody's ass on the sideline, I don't have a problem with it. Now, he didn't punch the kid and all that stuff. Now, did he have a moment where he went out there? Yeah. But in a weird way, it kind of gives me fucking hope. Okay, because he got after somebody's ass. Didn't have to do it publicly, but for people, Scoops has been to a gazillion practices. That's not even unusual at a practice. It just happened in the game in front of everybody. And so for all the people that are like, he needs, all this cancel culture bullshit that we're in right now. I'm not down for that. Now, I'm jaded a little bit with my opinion. I'm going to be honest and upfront with you guys on that. I'm jaded on my opinion on what happened because of what I think about Cam Blankenship, the person, okay, and as the player. But he's a dog. He's a tough ass motherfucker. And if I had somebody, he put it on the line for me and my family, and so I got a soft spot in my heart for the guy. I'm not going to. There's nothing that anybody now. Everybody just kind of like the Hugh thing, right? People can have opinion what they want to have on him. That's your business. I'm just saying. I've been asked about my opinion on him, and that's kind of where I'm at. So. It kind of gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling that he doesn't give a shit about trying to be somebody's friend. He's coaching the shit out of somebody. And I don't know this. I want to make sure that I leave this public too. I do know the head coach. I do know the AD personally. I have not talked to them. I do not know this to be the case. This is my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. This has no factual behind it. They came out and made the statement, hey, this is unacceptable behavior or whatever. We'll handle it internally. My guess is that the head football coach and the AD probably saying, hey, don't do that again, but nothing drastic. And I imagine the public perception of what happened forced probably the president to have to get involved and address it, and they needed to release a statement. That would probably be my guess.
I think it's one of those things where you just have to learn when you are coaching Ivy League athletes, like you do at ULM, you simply have to be aware of the fact that you're coaching a different caliber of person. You're coaching incredibly bright people who are at an incredibly difficult academic institution under a tremendous amount of stress. And sometimes when you are lined up playing offensive line against a team like basically a bunch of mercenaries at a place like Marshall, that you're going to start thinking about that quantum physics class that's coming up on Monday. And he just had a mental lapse, and Blankenship lost it a little bit, but everything's going to be fine. I saw where the player came out and said that everything is good. And I guarantee you that within 10 minutes of that, he was back to thinking about his advanced aeronautics engineering class that he had today, and some of the exams that are coming his way. Not everybody can go to schools like Texas State and Marshall. Sometimes we have to send our best and our finest to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Colgate and Louisiana Monroe. These are just things that have to happen. These are facts, and this is a lesson that Cam Blankenship will learn from. He'll know that the next time that he's coaching an elite brainiac like that kid, he's just going to have to use a little calmer language, and that way they can communicate on a higher level. Everything's fine.
Oh shit! I don't see anything wrong with it. Hell, I'm my 8-year-old makes me want to lose my damn mind at times like that when we're running a no huddle offense in a flag football game and he forgets what way the play's going. So listen, it's a college kid. Everything nowadays has become so damn soft. Listen, the coach cares. He probably knows the kid cares. And you have to coach different kids different ways. And Cam probably knows his personnel better than anybody. Usually O-line coaches do that. They know what guys they can jump down, what guys they can't, what guys to expect things from. So I don't have any issue with it. Hell, it's part of it. It's part of playing sports, part of coaching. If you haven't gotten your ass chewed out and a coach, MF you or anything, one, he probably doesn't care about you. Two, you're probably not very good because you usually get coached when you're a good player. And or you've been on a team that just sucks ass and has never won anything. So part of it, stop being soft, stop caring so much. Literally, stop caring.
You've never had your ass chewed before, have you?
Yeah. Dude, me and Siski, we've had some fucking throwdowns where we were in high school. I think at one point after practice, we're the only two on the field, left on the field, and we're still just going at each other. We also did this throwing contest, like hitting the crossbar of the goalpost on the practice field all the time. It'd be shit talking from there, and then it'd lead to something like it's part of it.
I always won that competition too, by the way.
Yeah.
Until you could. The only time that you beat me in that competition is when you got old enough where you could throw it further than I could. You just beat me by default by distance. No, I will say this too, and Scoops, you know this. Look, like when I was a coach, and most coaches, and I want to, like, it makes you sound like old man yelling at cloud, but we're not talking about like 20 years ago. We're talking about a lot of the coaches that are coaching now, and that are in this transition that we're in right now, right? Like in this immediate eligibility world. It's not even the NIL; it's the immediate eligibility world. Look, the players got to know. You got to, even Freeze had this thing where he would capture the hearts and minds of the players, and you got to, and that's the right word, is capture your room, and you got to get the players have to trust you. But before, there's been a lot of coaches that coach hard, but the trick to coaching hard, like, you can't go out there day one and start motherfucking kids. Okay, that's not going to work. They have to know that you love and care about them, and that there's a mutual respect there. They got to know that it's not personal. Like, they have to, and you have to get to a trust and respect area before you can just start undressing a player. No diddy. But you have to get to, you have to get to that point. And then if the players know that you're caring about them and that you're doing it for the best interest of what they are, you can say whatever you want to say. And like AJ and I had some great ones. I mean, I'm sure we'll tell them at some point in time. But we had some where I opened up the window and I was motherfucking from the press box in front of everybody. We've had some on the practice fields. We've had them everywhere. But at the end of the day, he knew it wasn't personal. But I was also the first person to give a hug around his neck at the end of the game. And that's part of coaching. And you talk about Rich Rod all the time, right? Everybody likes to catch Rich Rod in the rip ass. No, did he? In the segment of the, I'm trying, man, it just keeps coming out. In the segment.
That's what she said.
But but like Rich Rod's first one to give him a hug on their neck. He'll meet him at the end of at practice and giving everybody a hug when they come off the field. People don't see that part. They don't want to take that part. I mean, AJ's been caught on camera with Coach Saban getting on his ass several times, right? But they don't see the week to week. They see the battle, right? And so, but with AJ in particular, and you got to know your kids, which is what AJ was referring to. Like that's how AJ responded. Like if I was nice to AJ, that wasn't going. He wouldn't respond. He didn't. That's not what got the best out of him. Now some people you got to hug their neck because they can't. You'll get on their ass and they'll shut down. So, but look, I'll keep saying it. Like I when it comes back to Cam, I love and respect the guy for what he did, putting his body on the line. I mean, this guy could hardly practice. He was so beat up. He had no reason to go. He could have. He's one of those that Neil. He could have opted out like that. He had no. It was basically his option if he wanted to play or not, and he answered the bell every time, and he didn't do it. And for when somebody does that, knowing that, hey, if by him playing, it helps me feed my family. I don't care what anybody says about the guy. I got a soft spot in my heart for him for that. So, on that. All right.
You know what, Tyler? Hey, Tyler, let me tell you this. Speaking of being thankful for guys, you're thankful for Cam, for what he did for you. I'm thankful for you guys. MPW Digital is sponsored by BetterHelp. Today, like I told you, I'm thankful for AJ, thankful for Tyler. This month is all about gratitude. And along with the person I just shouted out, there's another person we don't get to thank enough, ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we're trying our best to make sense of everything. And in this crazy world, that isn't easy. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. I've benefited from therapy. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills, learning how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MPW.
Hey, check this out right here. You ready?
Yep. There you go.
How about that?
Hey, just 12 days till ULM at Auburn, baby. 12 days. 12 days.
Scoops, we're also brought to you now, second show on it by Kia of Meridian. Are you looking for unbeatable deals? Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides. Whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, Sorrento, Sportage, or K5, we've got something for everyone, plus a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part. With any new or used vehicle purchase, you get a chance to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, Xbox, TV, and more, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian and drive away a winner today. Kia of Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal. Let's go. Shout out for Kia Meridian and joining us. I got all kinds of tools over here, DJ. I was over here playing with all the tools over here the other day. No diddy. All right. All right, last thing, we'll get to the SEC games. Real briefly, kind of on the same lines with this Cam deal. We had it to talk about a little bit Thursday, but we got behind. I don't know if you saw this. So Lynn Camp High School in Knox County, Kentucky, fired their basketball coach, or he had to resign after a language-laced video from the locker room from last fall resurfaced. The actual video is from last year. And he's in there, and this is worse than any of it. This is worse than any of the two we've talked about. The cancel culture and softness of our country, this guy's in the locker room, okay, with his team in the locker room at halftime, basically, and he's not even cussing mad. Like, he's not cussing. Like, he's not even mad. He's just saying, fuck this, fuck that, whatever it is. And he said GD, which I actually don't even say that. But he was just saying, but he wasn't like get your, he wasn't making it even personal. He wasn't even yelling, but it was laced with it. It sounded like a normal freaking halftime speech. And if that freaking gets like the fact that got somebody fired, I mean, what 99.9% of the people in America need to be fired. I don't know what country, like, you don't play sports. Like, it wasn't even bad.
How did he get out?
It looked like somebody in the locker room, a player or somebody filmed it.
Yeah, it looked like somebody filmed it with the phone.
But it's a year old. It happened last fall, not even now. And so it's a year old. And
listen, somebody posted in here earlier, looking at the chat, but talking about kids are soft. It ain't the kids. It's the fucking parents that have changed this world. It's the fucking parents that have a blow up Tim Walz and Kamala Harris in their front yard and who they're voting for. So y'all can blame it on the fucking kids. It ain't the kids. Yeah, because
it's not the. You're right. It's absolutely not the kids. It's a parent problem. You can't blame it on You can't blame it on 16-year-olds.
No, listen. My 8-year-old is more mentally tough, and it's the way I was raised. It's how I was coached. I'm doing this exact same thing. If he doesn't do well, I tell him, son, you played like shit. If he plays well and does things, even if he doesn't play that great, but he does the things that we've worked on, he's supposed to. Hey, don't worry about it. Like, you played awesome. I thought you did exactly what we said we were going to work on. Blah blah blah. Like, you have too many fucking parents that sugarcoat everything. There's a participation trophy in every fucking thing. Like, the world has gone, and it's all because of the parents. So I don't want to hear shit on the kids, because you can raise kids and teach kids whatever you want. If you're not that way, and guess what? If you're that way, and I've heard it this weekend, I jumped my 5-year-old's ass in the game because he's playing up with 8-year-olds in travel ball, and
God dang, AJ.
He hit, dude, and he has the highest on base percentage on our fucking team. We moved him to the 2 spot. Like, Cash Money is balling right now. But he hit a ball, and he knew it was foul because it didn't go past the line in the infield, and he stops running. Well, their kid runs up, picks it up, throws it to first. At first, the home umpire, which we had some umpires, they didn't have a clue what sport they were umping, but he calls him out, and I said, no, it didn't go past the line, right? You told us in the pre-coaches meeting that it's got to go past the line. Oh, yeah, you're right. And I jumped Cash's ass right then. He had 2 strikes on him, came down to the last pitch. I said, son, you run until we tell you. He's like, yes, sir. And I hear a lady over there, oh, my God, I can't believe he just got onto his 5-year-old like that, or that kid like that. What does the sumbitch do in the next pitch? Rips a fucking line drive down the third base line and scores 3 runs. I'm like, it's all how you raise these kids. And so I don't want to hear it. The kids aren't soft. It's the fucking parents. So blame your parents. You're watching this show that went and voted for Tampon Tim.
I can't follow that, AJ. I have no response.
I get so sick of watching, and I mean, that's why we took our Cash when he was 4. We took him out of T-ball because they weren't keeping score, and I was like, we ain't fucking doing this.
Neil's doing.
He needs to know if he lost or won.
Neil's going. You know, me tell you what's going through Neil's head right now. Neil's right through his head right now. He's like, you know what? I think this is the first podcast I've ever done with. I am the least conservative person on the podcast.
Yeah, because going into this, I thought I was pretty conservative, and right now I'm like, I'm kind of questioning everything.
Neil's like, man, I must be a lot closer to the middle than I thought.
I'll tell you what I was thinking about as AJ described his 5-year-old. I'm like, genes matter, don't they? Genetics really matter in sports.
So you got your 5-year-old playing play an 8-year-old?
Yeah, he was practicing with us, and he was like, "Dad, I don't want to play t-ball. I hate hitting it off the tee." Like, and he works with us all the time, and so we had a kid quit, and before we even started the first tournament, and coach was like, the head coach was like, "Why don't you let Cash play?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know about that." And that son of a bitch has come out and just he's probably gotten better than any other kid, and he talks shit to his older brother, to Trip, and tells him all the time how he's hitting better or has a higher on base percentage and everything. I'm like, I love it because I want to see them compete. I want to see them talk shit to each other because I also know, like Neil was saying earlier, when something goes down, they're going to love each other so much. When somebody else is talking shit, guess what? It's on like Donkey Kong.
Well, and here's the thing, it goes beyond sports too, because the world's competitive, man. I mean, that's like you gotta have some resilience about you. You've gotta have some hustle in you that goes. That's not so much sports, because everybody can't be great at sports. I mean, some people, they're just not going to be great at sports. They don't have the genetics to be great at sports.
Right.
But you can take the lessons from sports, which is frankly why sports are great. You can take the lessons from sports and apply them to life, and where maybe the playing field is a little more level or whatever, and you can go be a dog in some other world because you've got that competitiveness in you, you've got the work ethic in you, all that stuff. That's the problem with parents now. I mean, if you can't let your kids be coached hard, and there's a difference between a coach coaching your kids hard or degrading your kids, right? There's a total difference.
Yeah.
If a coach is like that's the one thing AJ said it a minute ago, and it's true. I mean, I knew this. If a coach got on me in sports, and I was never a great player by any stretch of anyone's imagination, but I tried, and a lot of times that's all they really wanted. So if they got on me, I knew it did mean they cared. They thought I could be better, because I was one of those people that sometimes, like, I was far from the best player on the team. I knew other dudes were a lot better than me, and sometimes that could kind of get to you a little bit, like, man, I can't guard this guy, or I can't do what this guy does. And if a coach was getting on me, it made me think, well, he thinks I can actually do this a little bit better, so maybe there is another level for me to get to. Maybe I can get a little bit better and close this gap just a little bit. But if you don't teach kids that, that's on the parents. All this stuff is on the parents. I get sick of it, man. I mean, look, I spoke to a journalism class today at Arkansas. I got invited to speak, and there's a lot of sharp kids in there. There's this thing about how kids these days are this or kids these days are that. That's on the generation above them. It just totally is. It's an absolutely unfair criticism. I've got 3 kids in that generation, and none of my kids are soft. They're not. They're competitive. They fight. They've got fight about them. They've got grit about them. It's just crap. It's passing the buck. It's refusing to accept responsibility. If your kids are soft and whiny and big, it's because it's your fault. It is.
Tell them, Scoop.
It's your fault. And so that's just something I'm glad we talked about it for a minute. I know we're eating into some of our football time, but it's important stuff. I mean, some of those kids today came up to me after it was over, and they were asking very specific questions. They were very respectful. They listened. They took notes. I mean, I'm a nobody, and they were listening. I mean, they learned things. I mean, it's all. I've beaten it to death, but that people do that a lot. I hear people go, the kids these days, and I'm like, nah, that's a cop-out answer. That's a cop-out. It's a total cop-out.
Did you tell when you left, did you tell the class to follow you on TikTok?
I did ask them to follow us on TikTok. I did. Again, man, because like for us, right? Adaptability is a life skill.
Yeah.
I mean, when 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought, hey, we're going to grow our brand by getting on TikTok. I wouldn't have thought that. and yet, hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's how young people consume media. And so if you're not gonna go to where they consume media, well, don't be surprised when they don't know who the hell you are and you don't get that audience.
Yep, and no doubt.
I mean, I thought I've said this before, and you guys both know the man. I don't. I mean, I always thought that was Nick Saban. His main strength. This is a guy that obviously had a lot going for him, right? Has a lot of skills, but I thought his main strength as a coach, from the outside looking in, I didn't have the benefit of coaching for him or playing for him, but his adaptability, his ability to look at the landscape and say, okay, well, the way that I've always done this, and maybe the way that I'd really love to do this, might not be the most efficient way to do it. And so he adjusted, and I think there's a lot of life lessons in that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we're gonna switch to football, and this is our show, okay? And we get to talk about what we want to. I'm gonna save some time at the end. I do want to talk about the election tomorrow, and I will put it at the end so people can get the hell off here. And I'm actually doing it in case we get a strike on TikTok. I can close it out. So, but yeah, so we'll talk about it here in just a minute. But I want to talk about really the SEC games and the national games. So not that many games to go over. We'll start with. We'll go in just in time order right here where they were kicked off. Ole Miss 63, the Razorbacks of Arkansas 31, a game in which Neil McCready attended, where he is still located, where there is one of my children is on campus as we speak right now. That I did not.
How about that?
I did not find out until yesterday. Both my wife and my son gaslit me that I knew about it, and I did not. So Ole Miss 63, Arkansas 31. Kind of my thoughts, and let that cut you guys loose. My quick thoughts. Look, Ole Miss, last 6 quarters, Ole Miss has really picked up the tempo as a team, not as a unit, as a team. The last 6 quarters, things that I've noticed that I think made a difference, that it was easier for me to put into perspective after this game as opposed to just watching one game from last week. Look, Ole Miss allowed 39 sacks to Jackson Dart in the first 7 games of the year. Okay, they were DFL. Okay, for all of our new listeners, that stands for dead fucking last in the FBS and allowing pressures on the quarterback through 7 games. I don't know what they did. They went into the bye week. They came out of the bye week. He's been sacked twice in the last 2 weeks. He is a immense talent. When you give a quarterback that kind of time, and then all of a sudden now he can start going through his progressions and start distributing the ball equally, instead of having a second and a half and chunking it to the guy he thinks that can make the best play, you're going to have better distribution of the football. I think, after I went back and watched the game again yesterday. 2 weeks ago, a lot of the tight end distribution was because they were in so much 12 personnel. And then you see him going through his progression and being able to, boom, 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 down, boom, 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 down, boom, 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 down, boom, 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 down. He's able to go through a lot of his deal because he's got time. But I think they're peaking at the right time of the year. I think, obviously, this is going to be the most important game for them coming up. We'll talk about that on Turn the Page Tuesday. But look, I don't think Arkansas necessarily played bad. I think it was more what Ole Miss did. Defensively, they shut down the quarterback run. He was relatively ineffective. They really I thought Walter Nolan was, somebody said he may not play. That dude was unblockable. When he doesn't want to be blocked, he's tough to block. And 11, help me with 11's name, Pooh, whatever.
Pooh Paul. Dude,
this guy's a freak. This guy's an instinctive. This guy's so damn instinctive. He makes so many damn plays because of instinct. He's fun. He's a fun watch. And like I said, I don't think it was anything Arkansas did wrong. I just think it was what Ole Miss did right. And when you can keep the quarterback upright, they got a chance.
I called it when, I think our last show last week, and we were talking about thoughts going into that game. I think Ole Miss was a better team. It was just, can they end up, getting all the big transfer portal guys to, come together as a team, and seems like they're doing that right now. So they're going to need it this weekend. Georgia's defense is still really good when they want to play. The thing that worries me about Georgia is they seem to play to their talent or to their opponent. They can play down, they can play up. It just kind of but Ole Miss has a great challenge this week. I thought, but last week's game, I didn't feel confident enough in Arkansas's offense, like I said, Green, he struggles accuracy. Mechanics are all over the place. And when you can play those guys and you stop the run, now when you can't stop the run, now you open up the playbook for everything because you don't know, is it an RPO? Is it a play action? Is it a quarterback run? Like what's coming next? And it makes your job as a D coordinator really tough. But when you can limit those guys to, running quarterbacks to just having to stay in the pocket and throw the ball, you have a high percentage of winning that game.
Yeah, 6 quarters since they were trailing Oklahoma at the half. They've come out and I think played really, really good football. They look like a different team emotionally, mentally. I mean, maybe something happened in that locker room at the half. Maybe some guys just finally said, you know what, let's just play. Let's quit all the stuff and let's just play. I don't know, but obviously something has happened because, I thought they would beat Arkansas. I thought they beat them a couple of scores. I don't know that anybody thought. Asked Lane Kiffin, did you see this coming? And he said, no. They were able to – Daquan Wright had a big game. They were able to really utilize him in the passing game. Obviously, Jordan Watkins had a record-setting game. And then you're right. I mean, look, they'd kind of had some struggles with Micah Pettis at right tackle and benched him for a week. And then he comes back out. I thought he was really good last week against Arkansas. And, yeah, listen, the Georgia game, I mean, we all know it's basically a playoff. It is a playoff game for Ole Miss. Yeah. If they win, they're almost certainly in. If they lose, they're not in. It's going to come down to their ability. The only thing that I still wonder about them, and we'll find out Saturday against Georgia, is if you don't have just enough of a running game to keep Georgia's defense balanced, or honest, I should say, can you beat Georgia as a relatively one-dimensional offense? And I'm not saying you can't. I just don't know. That defense, if they know you're passing and they start teeing off, they have some just dudes, right, that are a headache for you. And I think this game's going to come down to the 2 quarterbacks making good decisions and not committing turnovers. Carson Beck, AJ's been on this for a few weeks. Carson Beck is making mistakes. He is making them week after week after week. And guys, against Ole Miss's defensive front 4, their front 7, their ability to get to the quarterback, if he makes mistakes, Ole Miss has the dudes that can make him pay for it with scoop and score, pick six, all that kind of stuff. They are absolutely one of those teams defensively that can make you pay for those errors.
One thing that helps Ole Miss, though, and I think if you're Lane, you're watching the first half from the Alabama game with Bama's quick game. So an extension of your run game is quick passing game or RPOs. And there's one thing Lane can do. He does both of those well. He doesn't have to chunk it downfield. So I think, watching the Alabama first half against Georgia, they did a really good job, and it's probably the only week I've seen them do it, to where they had an RPO game and a quick passing game, and they kind of exploited Georgia's defense. Georgia was playing soft quarters the whole first half, and then when you get into that versus Lane, to where, all right, that's your extension of your run game, you open up the playbook for him, because eventually, if Georgia's giving up yardage from that, one, you're killing the D line because you're not allowing them to get to the quarterback. The worst thing for a D lineman is they feel like they're having to put their hand down, rush hard every time, and the ball is out right before they get there. And you're making positive plays and you're staying ahead of the sticks, because those guys get tired. And even though they're tired late in the game, if they're able to get sacks, though, they can find that second boost of energy. If they aren't getting sacks on the quarterback, then is when they get pissed off and they're tired and the mental weakness takes over, and it's like, all right, I'm going to tap out and take a play off or two. So I think if Ole Miss can really take advantage of quick passing game and the RPOs, I think they have a really good shot.
So
it's the wildest Georgia stat, man. The wildest Georgia stat. Think about this in today's college football. Their last 52 games, or it's 55 games, something like that. If you take Alabama out, they're like 52-0. They've lost to Bama. That's it. Think about that. In today's college football, in a year where you've seen Texas A&M not only lose to South Carolina, but get routed by South Carolina. You've seen Vanderbilt beat Alabama. You've seen Arkansas beat Tennessee. The list just goes on and on. Georgia hasn't stumbled against anybody not named Alabama in 5 seasons. It's incredible, man. It's an incredible statistic.
We'll go ahead and transition right there. For Georgia's 34, Florida 20. Because I want to pick up some of this Georgia conversation in this game. Florida followed the script. Okay, we talked about it a little bit on the show on Thursday Scoops. There's a script to beat Georgia. There is. There's a script. You got to end every possession with a punt or every possession with a kick. Okay, you cannot allow them to get a short field. They have taken advantage of short fields the entire year, and if you give them a chance to do that, yeah. Another stat that's interesting too, Scoops. I'm sure you'll use it and all. You got a bunch of pods and everything this week with it. Is Carson Beck? He's tied for the lead in touchdown passes in the league. He's also leads the league in interceptions, and he's completing at like a 70-something% completion rate. I don't remember the last time a quarterback completed at a clip that high with that many touchdowns and that many picks. Usually, and it's bad decisions, right? He's getting deked a lot on simulated pressures. When the picture changes, he's really struggling. But it's like it's not all the time. Like he was unsure. He got picked on. It was either a corner or a sail. I couldn't see the back end of the route, but the corner belt, deked him and fell back under cover 2. AJ on a pick on the corner this past week. Mm-hmm. He saw it late. And he almost tried to pull the ball back, and the ball wobbled a little bit because he squeezed it. Because that tells you when the ball wobbles and it's not batted, that tells you that when he changed his grip on the ball, trying to pull it back before he threw it. And he underthrew it for a pick, and so then he got deked in a simulated pressure, and then got undercut by 2 droppers. Had a safety on the top, and I was like, ooh, So he made some really bad picks, but then he makes good throws and does some. It's very this, right? But anyway, but Florida held serve for 56 minutes in this game. This game was tied 20-20 with 4 minutes left to go in the game, and they throw a pick, and then they had to go for it, the next time, and then they get 2 short fields, and that's how the game gets opened up at the end. But Florida, I know we're playing hypotheticals, and I don't like hypotheticals, but I would really like to see that game play out if Lagway doesn't get hurt. I would have really liked to see that game played out if Lagway doesn't get hurt. And then while we're saying that, I did see something right before we came on that said Billy did not think the Lagway injury was as bad as they initially thought, and thought they may be getting him back, and did not necessarily rule him out for Saturday. So that will be interesting to see there how they finish going through the season. I want to say this too.
Billy's done it. I'm gonna tell you this. Let me say this real quick. You talked about on the postgame show, and I was having so much Wi-Fi issues and stuff that I wasn't in the mood. Florida's crazy if they fire Billy Napier. They're crazy if they fire Billy. They're crazy if they fire Billy Napier. He's done a really good job. They really hadn't caught a break. I was talking to Mike Griffith today for a podcast that will air on MPW Digital later this week. But he believes that Florida wins that game if Lagway doesn't get hurt. Now, obviously, we'll never know, right? That's one of those things that you can't prove it positively, you can't prove it negatively, we'll never know. So it's debate. So debate it if you'd like. I don't really feel like it. I don't know. Beats me. But he's done a really good job, and the fact that those kids have played for him, the way that they have, I think it speaks volumes to what he's almost doing. Why you would pay him $26 million to go away so that you can go bring somebody else in to sort of start over at this point's beyond me. Now, if a year from now everybody quits, different deal. If they roll over and play dead, different deal. At Arkansas, I think Saturday, that game was like one of those deals where they have to look at it and go, this isn't working. We want it to work, but it's not working, right? Florida's not having those games, guys. Florida's not having those games. They lost in overtime at Tennessee. They took Georgia to the absolute wire. They're very competitive. They're not all that far away. I don't want to waste a lot of time on it because time's we're up against it a little bit. I just think the whole Billy Napier conversation is stupid.
Yeah, I'm biased, okay, and I tell everybody I'm biased because I know Billy, I work with Billy, but I know there's some Alabama people that were in Tuscaloosa at the same time I was that have the same opinion that I do. This is not a crazy hot take by any stretch of the imagination because inside the coaching circles that I work with, a lot of people have the same opinion that I do. If you take Kirby Smart out, because Kirby Smart's the most like Coach Saban there is, you take him out of the equation, the next guy is Billy Napier. That's amongst the people who have worked there. That's not a hot take. Now fans may go, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" Yes, I'm being 100% serious, and that's why I'm such.
No, I've heard that independently of you guys. That the one guy that maybe most closely resembled Saban in terms of the way that he structured a program and stuff is Napier.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll talk more about the Ole Miss for the fans in there. Tomorrow's Turn the Page Tuesday. Scoops will be traveling back from Fayetteville, so it'll be AJ's pinch hitting for Scoops tomorrow. AJ's you gonna get double AJ for Turn the Page Tuesday. He won't be turned tomorrow, but we'll be ready to go on Turn the Page Tuesday tomorrow. All right, Oklahoma. This is quick. Oklahoma beats Maine 59-14. Oklahoma needed a dub, and they needed to try to get the offense going with. Against a team that maybe they find a way. They play Missouri this week. They need this one. It's a big game for Oklahoma. They need Missouri because after that they got Alabama, they got LSU to close the year. They need this game. It's a big game for Oklahoma, and that's where I'm at with college.
Yeah.
Now, college football is like the NFL. It's about motivation and matchups, and so they need this one bad this week. So we'll see. We'll talk about that again a little bit tomorrow. All right, fans, we got a lot in the chat. They want to talk about this.
Hey, Tyler,
Yep.
before you do that, I have to tell you. Speaking of matchups, we okay?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're frozen in.
All right. Speaking of matchups and stuff, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports.
He froze.
He froze. He probably started freezing on his end. That is a great look for Scoops right there too.
My man's high as a kite.
He's been puffing on it. I'll text him and tell him that he froze.
Oh, that's great.
I was supposed to give him a new sponsor bell. I was supposed to hit him
I
with
almost want to fucking take that picture and put it as my new background.
do it and say, hey, do it real quick. Do it and take it real quick. And then when he comes back on, say, look, I got a new background on my phone, Scoops. He's doing it. Hey, and then hey, close it down and then and then tweet it out. All right, he went out. Let's see if he's gonna come back in just a second. Right in the middle. Not just an ad read. That was a new sponsor ad read.
Yeah.
That was a new sponsor ad read too. I was just gonna get him I gotta get my horn ready to go.
God, that's great.
He's cussing too. He's so pissed off right now. He can't stand it. I guarantee you, he's losing his mind. He gets so pissed off when Wi-Fi jacks it up. While we're waiting on him, Vandy Auburn. Okay, Vandy Auburn. I'm just going. Obviously, I'm in the middle here. So I'm actually this guy. I'm the Tyler Siskey guy. I'll move this right here until he comes back. But look, you have he'll come back in 2 seconds. Right after I move this, he'll come back. Just so I have to put it back up there. But look, look, Vandy beat Auburn 17-10. I said this last week. I was really surprised at the line here. The line was got up to 7.5. I think people thought Vegas was trying to trick them or something. Here, I told you as soon as I moved it. There he is. I told you as soon as I moved the names around, that was going to happen. I knew that shit was going to happen as soon as I did that. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can do this. All right. You were right in the middle of doing the read. You said, let me tell you something about prop. And then here's the thing is AJ was so impressed by your face that he's got something he wanted to show you.
Yeah, that just want you to know it's going on
Oh,
as
look.
what you can't see.
Oh, yeah, get it up there close. Get it to the really close. That's all right.
Where's the camera?
It's just white. It's the camera.
So-
Oh,
There
there it
we
is.
go.
Yeah.
He saved it as
Oh,
your.
there it is. I'm
He
so
saved.
asleep.
He
That's
saved you
good.
as your. He said you were high as a kite.
Thanks.
He saved you as your.
Thanks, AJ. Hey, it might be a good idea right now. So I was telling you about Prize Picks.
Listen, if the
I'll
election
keep it
doesn't
quick.
turn out the way I need it, that's how I'm gonna look on Tuesday night.
Hey, I feel that. I understand. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. You think Justin Jefferson will make more than 83 and a half yards next week receiving? You think Lamar Jackson will pass for more than 1.5 touchdowns? You get to cook up hot takes of your own with your friends. Win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code MPW to get $50 instantly after you play your first lineup. Again, $50 instantly after you play your first lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. It's prizepicks.onelink.me, and I'll put all this in the thread somewhere so that you'll have it. Tyler, I'll send it to you so you can add it to the description. Should have done that before. By the way, on tomorrow, if you're too nervous to cook, worried about what's going on, go to Wendy's. Get some Wendy's nugs covered in sauce. Get those crispy and spicy nugs you love. Turn them up to 11. You might need to be up way past 11 to get election results anyway. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm. If you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
I have totally screwed up the name over here. It's like clear on my end. I have no idea. So it's in there somewhere. I just won't. The name Neil McCray. I screwed that one up. So we'll fix it later. Yeah, is that new sponsor alert right there?
It's a Blue Wire thing. Don't even ask. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got the link that came up. I just got that text. You were like really working my skills, my producing skills right now. So I'll have to ask you how.
I am deeply apologetic.
I need to learn how to add that to the description before I end. By the way,
I think I can do it right now while you're talking. So just go right ahead.
All right. So we were starting Vandy Auburn. We got about 7 minutes. I'm going to run through before we get to. I want to talk about something for you. Got to go, Scoops. All right, Vandy Auburn, Vandy 17, Auburn 7. We talked about it while you were coming in. Look, I kind of called that one at the beginning. I didn't like the matchup for Auburn, and a lot of the Auburn fans are obviously emotional. They have a ton of questions about Auburn. What's going on? Should we fire Hugh Freeze? Da 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 da. He's got one game worse record than Brian Harsin was when he was fired. Yada yada yada. All this stuff. And so, look, in my opinion, just watching them play, the defense is playing good enough. The defense is not a problem. They're playing when you're holding teams to 17 points. They lose the Oklahoma game or whatever it is. The defense is playing fine, and they're playing good, but not able to outscore people when you're holding them to 17 points. That's a problem. Okay, so the problem is definitely on offense. Early in the season, in my opinion, and me understanding the offense, I didn't think Peyton Thorne was making great decisions in the run game and pass game. Not just because I understand where the ball's supposed to go in the offense. I understand the run reads and all that stuff. I understand the RPOs. He was not making good decisions, and he's not talented enough to play the position. Just being honest. And so, in my opinion, I think if they have a really, really good quarterback, they go out and spend the money on a quarterback, you have a better team. I'm not saying they're just a quarterback away, but that's 85% of it because they've had explosive runs, they've had explosive plays. AJ's gonna know what I'm referring to here. Is like we painted a fade line. This is a great example. We painted a fade line, okay, which is halfway between the bottom of the numbers and the sideline. It's a big ass red line that goes right down the center, okay. When you're running a go ball, okay, the wide receiver's job is to what called hold the fade line. That means you're running right down that line and you're keeping the defender to the field inside. You're keeping him on you, and you're giving the quarterback. So AJ's the quarterback. You're giving him from that fade line to out of bounds to throw the ball. You're giving him room to work. Okay. So if you see a wide receiver run a go ball, and that ball, like for AJ's a quarterback, if he sees a receiver running man to man with a guy and he's pressed him all the way to the boundary, the AJ's only chance to complete the pass is to throw a back shoulder or underthrow the ball. That's the only choice you have. Okay. Well, they're running. They got the young receivers are doing a good job holding the fade line. All right, and then Thorne's making the correct decision. It's P and 10. He's got press coverage on an RPO convert fade. He's pulling it. He's going to throw the fade, and when he goes to throw the fade, he's throwing the ball 3 and 4 yards inside the top of the numbers. I mean, he's 15 feet, 20 feet off target. Like, that can't happen. And so that's the part that frustrates me is you got a lot of guys, and even he's making the right decision, but the ball's not even in the same zip code of where it's supposed to be. And he has a tough time with accuracy. He is an averages grits quarterback, but he has actually made decisions okay for the last 3 weeks. He's improved. You can see the decision making improving. But look, man, you score 7 points when your defense is holding at 17, you're not winning games. And I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, if they had a legit quarterback, they would probably be whatever and 1 right now. They would have lost to Georgia. That would probably be their record because their defense is keeping them in every single game they're playing in except for – and if you can't score more than 21 to 24 points on offense, you don't deserve to win anyway. And so that's kind of where I'm at with that. And everybody's like, oh, should we fire Hugh? You know, fire Hugh. Well, you can go spend 20, I think it's somebody's, I don't even know it, but it's somewhere in the 20s, millions of dollars to go buy him out and start all over again. Or you can just go buy a fucking quarterback. Just go buy a fucking quarterback. And see what happens. Because I think he gets another year. Because he is recruiting well. The momentum thing doesn't mean what it used to with pay for play. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. And, it's the same song and dance, rinse and repeat for me. So that's where I'm at. Anybody got anything different on that one?
No. I mean, Peyton's arm talent is just tough.
Mississippi State, yeah, it's just arm talent. Mississippi State, 45, UMass 20. They needed that one. I'm telling you, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. If he can maintain – the trick for Mississippi State is being able to maintain the roster come portal time. That's going to be the trick because I think they're recruiting well. I think they're coaching well. Like, I really like watching them play. They're fun to watch. They just don't have – the horses are too young right now. But they are a fun watch. And I think Levy's the right guy. I think Levy's going to do a great job. Just needs to be some patience and maintain the roster there. All right, South Carolina 44, Texas A&M 20. This game was probably a little bit worse than probably what it was. To me, the story of this game was twofold. One, from a Texas A&M standpoint, they could not finish on the quarterback, man. They had, good gracious, 8, 9, 10 negative plays created and could not get that dude on the ground at all. Could not get him down. And like to one point, there was one particular play. Dude, they hit him from the blind side, Scoops. Like they hit him from the blind side. He doesn't go down, and he's going to lose 12 yards. He doesn't go down. He scrambles out of it and throws it out of bounds. Okay, and the fans are like, oh, okay, it's no. It's not 2nd and 22. It's 2nd and 10. That changes everything. And that was just over and over and over. And then with Moss getting hurt early, that didn't help Texas A&M out. And then what we said about Marcel Reed last week on the show, right? They had to go with Marcel Reed, all right? And as long as they can run Reed zone, they're great. But when that becomes a problem, he's not good enough in the passing game. They cannot play catch-up with him. And so now you're in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation with him and Wegman. And I don't think you can't run the same offense playing with those two guys. They're two totally different quarterbacks.
No.
And it limits you in the passing game what you can do with those two guys. And so they try to play catch up, and he's not the guy.
South Carolina is one of those teams, man. When South Carolina's ahead, and you have to start, you're in pass, you're kind of in pass mode, and they know it. Man, those two cats on the edges,
they will come.
Kennard and Stewart. Woo.
Yeah.
And they both, neither one of them have a motor problem. I'll tell you that. When those two know it's here comes the passing game, they are locked. They're ready to go.
Ain't no doubt. All right, last game. We'll breeze through the last two, and then we'll get over and get you out of here, Scoops. Tennessee 28, Kentucky 18. I'm starting to think the warts are the warts. Tennessee is having a very difficult time getting started week to week. This is the fourth week in a row that they scored late in the second quarter. This one, they let Kentucky play around the game. You can't do that when they're that explosive, and they figured it out in the second half. But they're not as explosive as I think we want them to be on offense. And I think we want them to be explosive on offense because I think everybody loves the ability and the talent of the quarterback. And you want them to be explosive, but it eventually is going to get them. Okay, defensively they're still really good, but Kentucky was able to run the ball a little bit. But here's my thing with them is they got to figure that part out. You know, they're talking about going to the playoffs. Somebody's going to end up getting them now. If they don't, they have to. Let me tell you which one I would be worried about. They got to play Georgia. That's probably going to put them at 10-2 or a 2-loss team, right? I'm just letting everybody know. Just letting everybody know that last game of the season, they going to Nashville. It's going to be senior night for Diego Pavia. It'll be, we'll be undoing the bronze Diego, the Mexican Manziel statue in the end zones. That place will be juiced. Watch out. Be careful.
And it'll be a free shot for Vandy. From this point forward, everything's a free shot.
Free shot. Watch out. Just watch out. All right, and then quickly, the national game, Ohio State, Penn State was 20-13. Penn State, I said I thought Ohio State would win by double digits. They should have. They fumbled going in. They lost and they threw a pick six. They're 14 to 21 points better. I think Ohio State is very solid. They're going to get in the playoffs, and if they can be consistent on offense, they're tough to stop.
Yeah, Penn State just struggled to score in the red zone.
All right, Scoops, we're going to talk about the election. I know you're up against it. What time you got to get off? 3:25.
I got about 7 minutes.
Okay, I want to go ahead and get started on this because I know you got something to say. And so if you got, I'm going to be also keeping a quick watch on TikTok over here to make sure we don't get any strikes. I will turn TikTok off if I get a strike. Just letting you guys know. So if you wanted to come here about football, your show is over. Okay, your show is over. This is now the moderate Neil McCready that's in the middle, and then on the other two guys. All right, so all kidding aside, the election is tomorrow. I think let me
do this real quick. Yeah, well, I'll be fast. One thing I want to say is we did a podcast yesterday. It was me and Josh Hendrickson, and remember Ike Fessler, the guy from the Fairbanks.
Dog, first of all,
I got Ike on.
I listened to it this morning. That's my guy.
He's great. I was just going to say, I mean, I'm usually my own worst critic. I thought it was a fantastic podcast. They're both just incredibly smart guys, and they talked about the state of the race, polls, a lot of things. If you are looking for a serious preview, you want to hear some thoughts from people who know what the hell they're talking about. Highly suggested. It's on MPW Digital. It's wherever you listen to podcasts. I kind of made it a bit of a crossover between Hendrickson and MPW Digital Extra, but it's Josh Hendrickson, Ike Fessler, and me. It's an hour and I think 19 minutes or something like that. It was really, really good, if I say so myself.
I listened to every minute of it. It was freaking great. And so AJ, when we sent Scoops to Alaska.
Well, what are they saying? Because I didn't watch the show. Please, what's their thought process?
I think their basic premise is that they believe that a lot of the last minute polling is flawed for obvious reasons. I think they believe that a couple of these last minute polls are psyops. That these are, look, if you were running her campaign right now, think about this strategically. If you were running her campaign right now and you believed that you're behind, and I think she knows she's behind, and you have the media kind of on your side, and they are absolutely on her side, you would want to discourage the other team. You would want the other team to think, hey, you just can't win this. It's just everything's going against you. She's got all the momentum. And you'd want to put that message out because, look, in some of these swing states, right, AJ, in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and some of ththese states, you've got guys that are blue-collar guys that are getting up tomorrow and they're going to work. And so maybe they're getting up on a cold morning and maybe they're going to go to the polling place before they go to work. Or maybe they're going to try to squeeze it in at lunch. Or maybe they're going to go after work. And you want them to think, man, you know what? It doesn't really matter. We're not going to win. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep in this extra hour, or I'm going to go home after my shift's up, and I'm going to pour myself a Budweiser, and I can't do anything about it. I got work. I got to get up tomorrow and go to work. I've got stuff to do. That would be the strategy you would take. So it actually makes a lot of sense. They both believe, based on data and polls and some of the things that are pretty reliable, that this is a race that is all headed Trump's way, and that there's a decent chance that Trump wins, in not landslide fashion, but comfortably. They were talking about one of the things to keep an eye on tomorrow is Virginia. Even though Trump's not going to win Virginia, watch the margin in Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's amazing how fucking crooked the media is. Well, I think it was MSNBC maybe interviewed her and asked her about her vote, and her vote's in the mail being sent to California. And then they asked her on how did she vote on decriminalizing the deal. I think it was, I can't remember what part of the vote it's in, but she wouldn't give a fucking answer if she was going to vote yes for decriminalizing, breaking the law or not. Like, and in her fucking answer to that was, well, it's the Sunday before the election, and I just don't want to put out there that I'm either way right now. And I'm thinking, this fucking person is running for the president of the United States, and we can't even get her to answer a real fucking question. Hey, are you going to decriminalize this, or are you actually going to hold criminals to a certain standard and not break the fucking law? And they just let her off the hook like, oh yeah, love that answer, and didn't fucking ask again. And I'm like, dude, that's the shit that pisses me off, because I understand. Yeah. Listen, I've known President Trump for a long time. His family, they've always been great to me. Are there things that he says that are nuts? Yes. That you wish, fuck, I wish you'd just hold your tongue and wouldn't say it. But at the same time, that's what has made him have such a following, right? Is because he made it to where politics is, for him, is he's speaking his mind. He's going to tell you what he feels. And he's not just telling you what you want to hear so he can get your vote. Bernie Sanders said it best the other day. It was literally almost word for word. He said something along of, oh, she's as far left as I am, maybe even more. She's just got to say what she needs to say to win the election. He said it out of his own mouth. It was basically that fucking sentence right there. And I'm thinking, how fucking stupid can you be as a person to vote for somebody that and they're telling you straight to your face that, hey, a lot of shit she's saying, it isn't true. She's just going to tell you whatever you want to hear because you're a dumbass and you'll go vote for her. I mean, she's running 2 different ads for Muslims and Jews, in the same fucking state. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, how dumb is this fucking country?
Yeah.
I'm just thankful I live in Alabama. Thank God.
But I mean, that's at the end of the day, and ultimately, I don't know. Ultimately, I think it's why she's going to lose because she at no point in the months that she was running for president has allowed people to know who she is. What are you for? What do you stand for? Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, you sort of know what he stands for. You sort of know where things are. I don't think she ever did that. And then I'll say it. I think one of the things that's going to be an autopsy of her campaign is I think she made a fundamental error not doing the Joe Rogan show. As crazy as that sounds, not doing that show. Trump did it. J.D. Vance did it for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I listened to it on my way up Friday. He was fantastic. And he came across as, they labeled him as weird when Trump put him on the ticket. Weird, weird, weird. That was the catchword. The guy was anything but weird. So now you know who he is. And look, age is a factor for Trump, right? If he serves this term, if he wins and serves a term, he'll be 82 at the end of that term. His running mate is an absolute important part of the ticket because 82-year-old people, their health declines sometimes, even people with the limitless energy of someone like Donald Trump. And so now you have Walz on the other side. I think she made a critical error with Walz. She should have gone with Shapiro. Had she gone with Shapiro, she might have had this thing wrapped up. Pennsylvania's that important. But
she showed by picking Tim, she showed her true colors because she basically doubled down on, hey, I'm a fucking crazy lib. Like in all of his crazy views that he put in Minnesota, like I agree with them. She basically doubled down because if she would have picked Shapiro, she would have had the Jew vote. But she doesn't lean on the side of protecting Israel. She'll say it, but she's voted against it. She's shown that she is not on the side of the Jewish community. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's so much she plays both sides. Like I would much rather know. I like hanging out with people where I know, and they always say keep your enemies closer. I'd rather hang out with somebody that I knows that some bitch don't like me, and he knows I don't like him, rather than somebody that's gonna come up and say, "Oh, dude, I love you," and then turn right around and say, I stab him in the back as soon as I could.
Of course.
So I'd much rather have somebody that has mean tweets than somebody that's going to just tweet out whatever the hell you want to hear and then erase it and tweet another one.
Hey, I'm going to go, Tyler. I appreciate you guys very much. AJ, thanks so much for filling in for me tomorrow, and appreciate you guys a bunch.
Appreciate you, Neil.
Appreciate you, dog. I'll wrap it up with all the reads and stuff. That was my man. I've been over here playing with his name, trying to figure out how to get his name up there. I couldn't do it. That was my man, Mean Scoops McCready. That's our guy. And here's what I'm gonna say. And then since AJ, since all of the I can move your name too. Since all of the LeBron got to come out and endorse his candidate. We have all these people endorsing candidates, and we live in this country right now to where it's okay to endorse one candidate and everybody thinks you're great, but you go with the other candidate, you get canceled and all this stuff, and everybody classifies you as some person. So, look, I know people. I put on a good show sometimes, and AJ knows the real me because he's been a real me. AJ actually knows the real me. I'm actually a semi-intelligent motherfucker. A lot of people don't realize that, but I'm actually semi-intelligent. Got a master's degree and everything. Highly educated. Anytime there's an election that comes up. So I'm going to do my official endorsement for the presidency right here. Anytime there is an election that comes up, I want to go do my own research on everything that's going on, what everybody kind of stands for, yada, yada, yada. I want to do all that. And I want to look. And so this particular election, here are the things that concern me and my family. One is the border, okay? And that's number one for me. Is the border. Why is that important? Because if we continue to let illegals through the country and place them in swing states and then grant them amnesty, that is literally a way to ensure and fix elections moving forward. We saw it with Ronald Reagan, what he did in California, right? And so that's why California, I know a lot of young people are probably listening. That's what happened there. That's why California is the way it is as far as from a voting standpoint. All right, two is the economy. Okay, two is the economy. I'm a business owner. I go through. I've had to the way our current setup as a business owner. I started my business at the beginning of this administration. So the start of my business has gone through this my whole business has been going through everything that we've been doing right now, and when you have to pay taxes and things like that, the country is not designed. It's not set up for people to be successful running a business. It's very difficult financially to run a business and right now and so as that and as a that and other things obviously with inflation things like that, that was two. The last thing's foreign policy for me, and I'm extremely concerned, concerned about what's going on overseas. I know who had wars, who didn't have wars. I'm concerned, to be honest with you, about the cultural differences of having a female president because they don't respect females in some cultures over there that are causing issues. I think that could be a problem. Those are my big three. Okay, in this election, abortion is also a big issue, right? And my whole thing when it comes to abortion is everybody's making it such a hot topic, right? And from the common sense party, it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter what side that you fall on about abortion because this shit's been going on for 60 years in our country. I don't know who really thinks that either one of these yahoos is going to do shit to fix it. Okay, this has been going on for 60 fucking years in this country. Does anybody really think that either one of these two yahoos are going to fix shit on that? So for me, it's a non-issue because I don't think either one of them are fixing shit. Been going on for 60 fucking years in this country before I was born. This has been going on before I was born. And so why do we all of a sudden think that these two people, either one of them, are going to fix anything? And it's going to continue to be an issue as long as we go.
Yeah, but the thing that I love is, listen, and I'm like Trump. I don't agree with abortion unless it's rape, incest, things like that. Then it wasn't a girl's choice to have sex, so therefore she shouldn't, have to carry the baby. And that's the only time that I'm for it. But at the same time, he did what nobody thought was possible by leaving it up to the states. And guess what? If the state wants to decide on it and you vote on it, now you can change it because different states will have, different opinions. That's just the way it should be. It shouldn't be where taxpayers are having to fund somebody's abortion. I'm not for that at all. And so, I mean, that's the, and listen, I think that's one thing that has hurt Republicans throughout the years is you have hard right people. And listen, I'm one of the biggest conservatives because I've made a good amount of money. I've worked my ass off, and I don't like paying for people's shit unless it's my kids. And I mean, Siski will tell you I'm as cheap as they come. But like I just think, the way this economy is going, it's an absolute shit show. To just the groceries being up 28% is fucking insane. And you think back on how this country used to have a ton of money, and people can, on her side, knock him wanting to tariff other countries. Guess what? Back in the day, that's how we did things. In the early 1900s, we used to tariff everybody, China, every other country that wanted to sell goods in the country. And that's how we became to have so much money, is because we were tariff whatever they brought in. I think RFK joining Trump's side, RFK Jr. Is a huge positive for him as well, because we do have a crisis of obesity in this country and unhealthy people at all times. He put up, RFK Jr., who I like a lot, put up a post showing RFK eating fast food, and how back then you could eat fast food and it didn't have all the shit. Like, I don't allow my kids to eat McDonald's. We're not eating that shit. Like, I don't believe in it. There's so many issues the past 4 years, and I think what is best for Trump and people, when you really think about it, were you better off 4 years ago than you have been the past 4 years? And it's an easy yes. I think everybody in the country, from a standpoint, living standpoint, and people want to talk about the 1% paying taxes. Guess what? I've been in that category of 1%ers, and I promise you, I saw. I signed, and just a quick thing because I know we got to go, but I signed with Buffalo. I told them I wanted my first $1 million in a check, so I could frame my first million I ever made from just one whole check coming in as $1 million, and I also pulled out the rest, and I ended up with like something crazy. I want to say like high fours, low fives, and I was like, "What in the fuck is going on?" It's
Hey,
absolutely insane. And people
hey,
talk about
who's FICA? Why is he taking all my money?
dude, it pissed me off so bad, and thank God I got a lot more money than that. But I told him I just wanted that one check just so I could also see it. But it's insane. And people talk about, 1%ers need to pay. Listen, 1% pays a ton in taxes. Okay.
Hey, by the way, hang on. I just want to let everybody know we got the strike on TikTok, so they're not liking us. But guess what? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. When in Trump's tax policy of the not taxing companies, guess what? When you entice these companies to come into our country and build these big companies where they hire thousands and thousands of people, if you don't entice them with taxes and not having to pay a shit ton of taxes, they're going to go to other countries and just build it there. And then we lose jobs that way. You got to be able to entice these people. It's a give and take situation. And I mean, it's not even close when it comes to taxes and economy. Like he blows her out of the water.
So and again, and people that really know me like AJ does, I'm a big picture guy. I don't really get constricted. I don't view myself ever as so this for me, this election was where I'm going is going to be very simple for me. You're not voting for Trump, or you're not voting for Kamala Harris. You're not voting against them. You're not voting against Kamala Harris. You're not voting against Donald Trump. What people we make this. As you learn how things work, as you get older and you learn how things work. And, I didn't realize this when I was younger. I didn't. I mean, again, call me an idiot, call me blind or whatever. The entire process, okay, media, they try to influence the way you think by what they show you. Both sides now, okay, both sides. I'm talking about you got CBS, NBC, MSNBC, ABC. They're all left, 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 left. Everything they, for the most part, CNN, everything they do is all left, left, left. And you got Fox News that just hammers your ass on the right. And nobody really. I don't like being told what to think. I don't like being told what to think and what to say. I don't like that. I don't want to be told what to do. And that's why I'm my own boss. Now, football's obviously different. I got a boss and all that stuff, but I don't here. And when you come to, and the way I look at it is you're not voting for Kamala. You're not voting against Kamala. You're not voting for Trump. You're not voting against Trump. You're voting for the 5,000 people that they're putting in place to run the government. And so when people say the argument, when the people talk about Kamala Harris, if Kamala Harris is elected president, those 5,000 people aren't changing. Okay? It's going to be the same people doing it. I like the people that are being put in place. I think they're very smart people that Trump's putting in place. I can't say his name. He hasn't been on our show, but I know someone that's been very high up in the government. And I used to ask him, I said, hey, do you want to run for president one day? He literally looked at me and said, no. I said, why not? He says, they don't have enough power. I said, excuse me? He says, the president of the United States doesn't have enough power. That's not who runs things. And so I'm looking for the 5,000. I'm looking for a change. Okay. I'm looking for a change in border policy. I'm looking for a change in our economics. I'm looking for a change in our foreign policy. And for me, personal, Tyler Siskey, and that's why I will be voting for Donald J. Trump tomorrow. I will stand in line. I let people that work for me know this. So if we got coaches listening right now that use QuickU, we're having a staff meeting in the morning, and then my guys got as much time as they need to go vote. I don't give a shit if we cut up or do one thing for QuickU tomorrow. Our entire company is going to vote and use and exercise that right to vote tomorrow. We got a lot of people in the chat that probably disagree with us. I saw one that's probably in and out. That was Shannon Overstreet. That's also okay. I don't know why we've reached a point in this country that we can't have. I'm over here getting shadow banned as we speak by TikTok. I don't realize why we can't have discussions anymore. I don't have to agree with everything you say, and you don't have to agree with everything I say. That's called America. I don't understand why we have to force people's opinions. I think we're trying to limit free speech. That's what our country was built on, and I don't understand why we have to do that in this country. And I don't dislike somebody because they're voting for the other person. They have their reasons. That's your right as an American, and that's got to quit. I don't care if you're right or you're left, in the middle, or whatever. What we're doing in our country right now, in my opinion, with the politics, we're creating divisiveness in this country, and that's where and we're hammering it home in the media. So when you go turn on the news, depending on what channel you go on, you're creating negative thoughts of other people just because of who they vote on. I don't understand that. I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me to have a good relationship. I mean, shit, AJ, you and I have had a gazillion disagreements over our lifetime, but you know what? If I got to go in a foxhole with somebody, I'm taking my dog AJ with me too. You know what I mean? And I think people that can see through all that bullshit, I think they're smart and they can see things. But and again, that's why I'm trying to keep a level head about this abortion thing. People get so emotional about it. But I sit there and I say, well, guys, it's been 60 years. It's been a problem for 60 years. Neither one of these two people are solving it. Whether you agree with the states' rights or you agree with a federal ban or whatever, that's not getting solved by these two yahoos in the next 4 years. I'm looking for the 5,000 people that are running my government that are going to put the best team together. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the person that's putting the best team together, because that team is what's going on, the winning team. If Nick Saban went to go coach New Mexico State this year, guess what his record would be? The same fucking thing as the head coach at New Mexico State now. Okay, it's about, just like football, it's about players. It's about who you got running shit. Okay, and so we need somebody, and for me, it's about putting the right people in place. And I feel, again, for the main three issues that I have in my life, okay, that's important to me, which in this order is border, economy, and foreign policy. That's my three in order. I said border policy first, okay, for me, because it's not about, I'm going to find a way to make money. I'm a hustler, okay, and I do good in my business. I'll figure it out, okay. I'm okay with paying more taxes. I'm okay. What I'm not okay with is worrying about my children's safety. That's what I'm not okay about. What I'm not okay about is basically having an open border. The whole point of the open border is so we can turn the entire country, we can keep our party in control for generations, okay, for my whole lifetime probably. I'm not okay with rigging shit. I'm not okay with taking special interest from the people who own these media rights groups, okay? I'm not in interest of that, to tell me what I think, to try to pursue my deal. I'm not for that. I'm for free thinking, free speech. That's what I'm for. And common sense. Okay, that's what I'm for.
There's one party, and they want to talk about fascists and Nazi rally and everything. When you look at it, there's one party that has been all about censoring. And it ain't the Republican Party. Like, there's one party that tries to cancel you, censor you, do everything they possibly can when you say something that doesn't line up with their views. And there's a video going around on social media, a guy voting in California. And this is fucking nuts to think we're in America and you can go vote without a fucking ID. When you can't even go to a Kamala rally and not show your ID. when you can't drive a car without an ID. Yeah, there's so many things you can't do without a fucking ID, and you can vote in California without showing an ID. I mean, he literally in this video, it's pretty insane, but it's a great video. But he shows how dumb and rigged they're trying to make the system, where they ask you, the first three letters of your name. So you give them the first three of your last, the first three of your first, and then they ask you your birthday. And he's like 1985, I think, maybe not. And they're like, well, what do you mean maybe not? He's like, well, you can't check my ID, right? You can't verify, right? They're like, no, we just need to know your birthday. He's like, yeah, 1985. That's what I said. Maybe not. And he keeps doing this over and over, and they end up having to print it out. And he goes and votes, and he's like, he's basically showing how fucked up this system is, because they're allowing. And listen, when you allow probably north of 20 million people, illegal immigrants in, one, you change the voting system, and you're able to rig it, because as soon as you give those people citizenship, what way do you think they're going to vote? And so you're doing it, and you know why you're doing it. You're doing it so it's rigged, and that you keep power for a long period of time. And on top of that, it's just, this whole fucking thing's insane. Listen, but the Republicans, there's 7 seats up in the House. I think there's 1 Republican seat up that they need to win. They need to win back the House. With a Trump win, they only need 1 seat in the Senate, because then the tying vote goes to JD. So listen, he needs to. I hope we can flip the House and the Senate to where it's Republican has the stronghold on both of them, to where you can actually get shit done, because those two are important.
That's my thing. It's like, again, it's a combination of a bunch of shit. I just don't understand. I never have understood why people don't I have a very difficult time when people can't see how media, and both sides, okay, I'll make that very clear, both sides. Fox News is the only one doing it for the right side, but then you got all the others on the left side, how they try to influence your thinking, and that doesn't bother people. Either they don't recognize it or it doesn't bother them. I don't understand either. I don't understand why there's a lot of anxiety, right? I mean, people are on pins and needles and a lot of anxiety, and that's causing a lot of emotion, okay? And I tell people all the time, and tell me where you've heard this before, you have to control what you can control. And there's one thing that you can do, and that is go vote. Okay, I encourage everybody, if you want your voice heard, go vote. We don't have to agree. I'm not trying to talk somebody into agreeing with what I'm saying. I'm just letting everybody know how I see things. And I see things because I'm looking for the 5,000 people that are going to change the issues that I have with our country right now, and that's why I'm voting. I don't care if I was voting in California when I knew that my vote wouldn't count. I'm going to vote. I'm going to let my voice heard, because the way I look at it, and I will say this to everybody out there, I encourage you, no matter what side you choose to vote on, okay, to go vote. Because if you don't vote, you don't have a right to bitch. You don't have a right to complain. If you don't go vote, you don't have a right to complain. So I encourage everybody, and then I see Tate, regardless, going to get up and go work, just with a few less rights or whatever. We're going to get up, we're going to go work, no matter what happens on Tuesday, whenever this election gets decided. But get up and put one foot in front of the other, and then the only way that you got to get your voice heard is to vote, plain and simple.
All right. He said, hold on, what did he say?
Tate said, basically said he's going to get up and work regardless of the outcome.
No, 100%. I mean, you're going to, but the issue I have, and I really think we're going down a path of this, is you allow them to take one thing, and then the next go around, you allow them to take the other thing, and that's how your rights get taken away. That's when amendments don't mean shit. And it's just, hey, we're going to censor this speech, but we're not going to censor this speech because we don't think it's misinformation. So now you're allowing the government, which our founding fathers basically put these in, so you don't allow the government to just run everything and tell you what to think and what to say and all that.
Hang on, I'm turning off TikTok because they're about to ban me for life. So bye. If you want to listen to more, come to MPW Digital on YouTube.
But and that's another thing. TikTok owned by China, and hell, they're not. TikTok ain't even fucking allowed there. So what does that tell you?
We had 6,400 people in there.
Yeah, I mean that tells you right there. And I'll tell you another big thing. So if we keep allowing, well, let me finish on that. We keep allowing these certain rights to just be taken away and censorship and all this. Like you're gonna end up waking your ass up one morning and finding that fuck, I don't control shit. Like the government controls everything. That's not the right path. The other issue I really have, talking about the border. All right, north of 20 million people coming in. Probably, I've seen things where 11 million, around 11 million unvetted. Who the fuck's coming in? Do we know, like, how many terrorists, and the FBI has already put out a thing talking about how many people on the terrorist watch list that have come in, and they don't know where the fuck they are. Listen, one thing that's always been, when the United States decides to fight a war, it's never here. But we're setting ourselves up for a war on our land, letting this many people in. And it's not going to be, a country invading us and having planes over here and fighting like that. I don't think that's going to happen. But there's going to be terrorist attacks in the future that happen. I don't want it to happen. But when you have that many unvetted people in, and it's not good people coming in at all times. It's other countries sending people that want to do fucking harm to us and don't believe in our way of life. You're going to have terrorist attacks that happen, and it's not going to end up good. So,
yeah. All right. I'm going to remind everybody to go. We're brought to you, AJ, check this out, by Rain.
I saw Tate. Tate, I didn't see your comment, so that's. I didn't know you were being sarcastic. I was just kind of talking about other people that you hear talk about. Oh, I'm fine with giving up this.
AJ, we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push your limits and achieve your goals. AJ, so check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. Guess what? We're also brought to you by, I forgot to say this earlier, so Brandon's going to get mad at me, but I did read it, but I forgot to add something to the end. We're also brought to you by our good friends at PTG Outdoors. Are you looking for Garmin? Listen, not just fishing goods, not just boats. They sell everything. Are you interested in checking them out? Discover their Garmin products at PTG Outdoors. They have cycling, running watches to tax, indoor cycling. Garmin brings the innovation to your fitness journey. Track health metrics, explore maps, and enjoy GPS precision for cycling, golf, and outdoor adventures. Dive deeper with swim tracking, train smarter with dog tracking tools, and monitor performance on land and water. Explore Garmin's range, including smartwatches, scales, and advanced off-road instruments available right now at ptgoutdoors.com. Now, something I forgot to mention earlier. Our good friend Brandon, they are giving away a Garmin Trax GPS radio, this big, expensive Garmin tool for at the end of November. For free, they're giving it away. To enter, when you go to PTG Outdoors, make sure in the promo code you enter the promo code MPW. That is MPW when you go to PTG Outdoors to be entered free in the competition and the drawing for the Garmin. All right, guess what? We're also brought to you by our brand new sponsor. Let's go. Let's get a little Kia of Meridian. Kia of Meridian. This is their second show. Thank you, those guys, so much. Our guy from TikTok, All Trav from TikTok. That's where we got this sponsor from. Are you looking for unbeatable deals? Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides. Whether it's the ever popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5, they've got something for everyone. Plus, a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part. With any new or used vehicle purchase, you will get a chance to spin the wheel and win some awesome prizes like the PS5, the Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian and drive away a winner today. Kia of Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal. I'll remind everybody, so tomorrow, as we've talked about, tomorrow's election day. Make sure you go out and have your voice heard tomorrow. Highly encourage it. AJ will be back tomorrow. Okay? AJ will be back tomorrow for a Turn the Page Tuesday. It'll be game day on the Turn the Page Tuesday tomorrow. But we'll go over all of the games for this week. We'll preview. I'm sure AJ has a lot of things to say. On the Alabama LSU game coming up this weekend. So we'll preview this week's games, and then whatever comes up that we can piss off everybody between now and then, and I'll make sure that we'll have fun tomorrow. So hang on, I'll make sure we get us clear here. So for AJ McCarron, for Scoops McCready, I am Tyler Siskey. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Turn the Page Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central on the MPW Digital YouTube channel. Probably not on TikTok. I probably just got banned for a year. So probably not on TikTok. So all my TikTok people, make sure you pass the word. Probably won't be on there for a while after that one. They were over there just strike. So I'll probably be banned for at least a year on TikTok. So until then, until tomorrow, we'll see you guys.